Hey, what's up? How's it going? My name is Toby, and in one of the last videos I've been showing you how to create this cute little augmented reality TikTok filter. And in today's video we want to do something a little bit different. It also has to do with augmented reality, but what we are going to do is hand tracking, which is also possible in TikTok's EffectHouse. And I just want to quickly show you what we are going to do today. So let's imagine you want to talk to your audience about your 3 favorite things, or maybe about favorite places, favorite restaurants to go, maybe about vacation. So here hand and finger tracking is very great because you can just emphasize what you want to say and make talking to your audience more engaging. So at first I tried to do some fire bending effects with the hand tracking in EffectHouse, which is also possible, though a bit more advanced. But I don't know if actually anyone else besides me finds this cool. So if you want to have a tutorial on that, leave it in the comments and I'll do one. I just found it a pretty nice idea. But in this tutorial, we're gonna concentrate on the first example. So we will need the EffectHouse software, which is provided for free by TikTok. So you can just go to effecthouse.tiktok.com. Links are in the description, by the way. If you don't find anything, then just take a look at the video description. You need to log in with your TikTok account, download and install the software. We are also going to need vector graphics, which are these the little burger, also the numbers that you saw in the example, as well as the plane. That were all vector graphics, and I of course didn't design them myself, but I went to FreePic, which is a website that will allow you to download some vector graphics for free, and you can just search for something like food in this example and then select vectors, and then you could, for example, choose this if you want to talk about some Italian food, let's say. And then you will also need some kind of graphics software, but we really don't need a lot of functions. The only thing we will actually do is we will go to our graphics software, and then we will export the single images as a PNG. So I'll get to this a bit later. So just that you know, we will just open some kind of vector graphics that we download, and then we will export, let's say, the slice of pizza to use it in our video. Alright, so, well, before we get to that, also if you don't have Illustrator or the Adobe Suite, there also seem to be many free alternatives, especially as there's just very little functions that we need here. This says Inkscape or GIMP or something, so the only thing we really need to do is import a vector data and export a PNG image. So maybe there's even some online convert Illustrator to PNG or something, so this might work too. You can just Google it and then you'll probably find some solution for that. Alright, so then let's jump into EffectHouse. If you want to know a bit more about EffectHouse and maybe also have some background information, you will also find tons of learning resources on the TikTok website. Okay, so this is the project that you actually saw in action with the hand gesture tracking, but for this tutorial's sake, we just want to create a new project. So if you start EffectHouse, it will look something like this. I really like this FaceTime hamster. And we're gonna go to templates, and we're gonna choose body and then hand gesture. And here we are on the fresh, clean scene. So the basic interface, we have the scene happening here. We have some logic down here, which we're also going to use today. We have a little preview window with different videos as well as pictures. And then on the left and right, we have the objects that are in the scene, as well as some attributes that we can tweak. Alright, so to get started, let's quickly go to the preview window. By the way, if you don't see something, then you can always try to click these buttons here. So maybe the preview window is hidden, then you can open it like this. And then we just can search for a video, so where someone raises its hand. So in this example, we already have some predefined pictures, but of course our goal is to individualize it and to adapt it to our purposes. But this will already give you a quite good idea about how hand tracking works. But what we're going to do right now is just select all the logic down here and delete everything. And then we will also delete these two scene objects here, because I want to show you how to do everything from scratch. All right, so to begin with, well, what we might do at the very first place is to import some kind of assets. And I actually downloaded some of the assets from FreePic here. So if you want to do that, you could just enter some kind of a picture that you're interested in, select vector graphics, then you can download it for free. I think there's some kind of limitation on that, but I think like 10-20 pictures a day if you want to use it for free. And you also need to attribute the author if you want to push this to TikTok or something. But I'll say a little bit on that later, and then you will download it, and then you'll need to open it in Illustrator or any kind of program that you will use, and then you will just need to select the graphic that you want. Click, in this case of Illustrator, on File and then Export Selection. Then we want to export it as a PNG. Make sure the scale is big enough so that the actual graphics will look quite detailed. And then choose the folder where it's supposed to export, and then just export the setting. And then we can go back to EffectHouse and drag our PNG image in here. It's important to have PNG because those files have a transparent background. And in the case of this graphics, for example, there might be a white background here, which will look quite bad in our filter. So we always make sure that we have transparent background. All right, so then we have our asset. Let's call this pizza. Oh. And in order to make the pizza show up in our scene, we need to right click here on the hierarchy, create a new object, 3D image, and then we can just click on the image, and on the right side we have a field that says texture. Then let's just drag our pizza in here, and now we have our pizza showing up. So in order to make it follow our hand, we can go to add another object. So in order to organize ourselves better, let's create a empty scene object and maybe just call it hand tracking. And then we need to create another object which is going to be of type AR tracking hand tracker. So then we will add the image to the hand tracker. And now we are already at the point where the pizza is following the hand. So we already made great progress here. So next up, we don't want the pizza to show up at any given point, but we want to define at what kind of gesture and what kind of point in time the object is going to show up. So for that, we will need the visual scripting, and I think I might need to increase the window size here a little bit so that you can see everything. So let's go down into our visual scripting and let's begin to add a node. The first node we need to add is a visibility node. So it's set visibility because that's what we want to do. And we want to have two, so press Command and D or Control and D depending if you're on Windows or Mac. And then one will be visibility on, one visibility off. So after that, we need to have some kind of gesture detection. So let's add a node, gesture detection, and then we will define, okay, if the TikTok algorithm detects a certain gesture, then we want to basically set the pizza to be visible or to be invisible. So here we have the option if we want to have one hand, so the left hand, the right hand, or either of them. So let's just stay at hand 0 here. And for the gesture, let's enter open palm. By the way, if you want to know what these gestures actually mean, there's always a preview here at some point hand of all the gestures, so you will also know what kind of gesture means actually what. Okay, so if we begin with the open palm gesture, then we wanna set the visibility to on. And if we end the gesture, then we wanna set the visibility to off. So there's also a stay, so that means that if we stay at this position, do we wanna do something? And if we do nothing, so if nothing is detected, then what do we wanna do then? So there's nothing changed because we haven't actually selected what kind of target, what kind of object is to be set visible. For that we will just drag in the image here and then we will set as the target. So now the pizza, if the scene refreshes, as you can see, it will only show up when it detects open palm. And to check whether this is actually working, if we would now choose some other kind of like 2 fingers pointing up, 2 fingers pointing, then we shouldn't see. So if the frame updates, give it a second. Okay, I get it. I think we'll need to also have none. So that's something important to notice. I didn't know that. So of course ending is also just valid if we did a gesture and then we will end it. So if we have never started the gesture, it will also not trigger the ending, it seems. So makes absolute sense. So it's working. And in this case, we maybe want to do the pizza for... So there's one sign here that fits quite well. And this is the OK sign, because this is what I usually use when the food is really good. So I don't know about you guys, what's your favorite gesture to show that you like the food, but I like this one. Okay, so then maybe if we want to click on the gesture again, click the OK gesture. Is it OK? Okay, yeah, so here it is. And now as soon as the image refreshes, we will see the pizza here. So there's something else that we definitely need to do. So we need to go into the hand tracker and also rotate on the axis, because otherwise if we will use our camera in vertical or in horizontal format, it will not rotate with our hand, and this is pretty bad. Alright, so this is pretty much the simplest way to have some kind of picture, some kind of object following your hand. And now what we wanted to do is we want to use different gestures in order to create a kind of story. And for that we can simply copy and paste all of these. We can select the first gesture and maybe just create a comment around it and say, so this is food on OK. So that we know, okay, this little bit of logic here will show up the food when we do the OK sign. So next up, we want to do something different. So next up, we might want to ask the audience something. And for that, I did actually import the question mark. I also exported it as a PNG and just quickly rename it to question. All right. And then in order to use this, we will also then duplicate the hand tracker by clicking Ctrl D or Command D. And we could just name this point towards audience tracker, let's say. Go to the image, then we will drag in the question, and we will need to change, of course, the visibility by dragging the image into the logic and then connect it to our target here. Change the detection gesture to, well, I now need to look it up. I think it's something like index pointing. Okay, here we go. So then let's say index pointing. And now it's actually invisible. And if we would switch to index pointing, then, so no, this is the wrong one. Index pointing. Then we will see it being shown to the screen. So maybe we don't want to have this exactly on our hand. So we could then just click on the hand tracker here, and instead of the hand center, well, as we need a thumb for this, we could just click on the thumb tip. And we could even go further, select the image and just manually drag it a bit towards the top, like that. So in this case, it will be over your hand and over your thumb tip. Alright, so then we can have our second one and call this one question mark. Alright. So this is the basic logic that you will need to create hand tracking. Always make sure to save your project by clicking Ctrl S or Command S. I'm gonna call this hand tracking, let's say tutorial. So make a folder and again hand tracking tutorial and then just save it up. Alright, so let's take a little look at the original project that I showed you in the beginning of this video. So here I did nothing else than I just showed you just for the index 3 fingers, 2 fingers, also for the image that is being shown here and for the burger that's being shown. So I always have the gesture detection and then I chose the gesture that I'm interested in. I also have duplicated all the hand trackers. You can have as many hand trackers as you want and then always choose what kind of anchor the image is supposed to be projected on, then dragged in some kind of PNG image and basically set the visibility of it. So in order to test out and release your TikTok AR filter to the public, you first of all need to make sure that your effect size is under 5 megabytes. So this little indicator here on the top right will show you whether you're still good. The more images you import into the scene, the bigger the images are, the faster you will get to that 5 megabytes level, and maybe you need to do some kind of image compression in order to stay under that limit. In order to test it out, you can just click preview in TikTok, you can scan the QR code and then just test it out live in the TikTok app. And in order to publish it, you will have to click on submit and then you will be able to submit it and to publish it to the public. Of course, you need to have the license to all the graphics that you will use in your TikTok filters. So then you will just have to have some icons. So this could be, for example, a screenshot and then also a demo video, add some text and a name, and then you will be able to just submit it. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple, but at the end of this tutorial, I just want to quickly show you the fire bending project I made, which is a bit more complex, but it's also quite easy and a quite cool effect to create something for your TikTok community. Alright, so this is the project that I've been creating for the fire bending effect, and as you can see, as soon as this guy makes a fist, just fire starts bursting out. And what I've been doing here actually is I've been using a green screen effect. So I've been just going on YouTube, entering fire bending effect, whatever, I downloaded it and I keyed out the green color in the background. There are also some pre-keyed visual effects like fire, water, whatever you like. And then I just exported the video. This is also a bit more difficult maybe, but you need to import the video into a video editing software. You need to key out the green background and export it as a PNG sequence. So that means that the video is going to be exported frame by frame in a PNG format. And this can also be imported into TikTok in an animated texture. And also here I just have a very simple setting visibility. I've been creating a lens flare, which is this yellowish thing up at the right top. And then I've also added some audio to it, and I've also made sure that if this fist that is being detected will end, then we will also just stop the audio as well as make the animated texture, the fire, invisible. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. Please let me know whether you want to have more tutorials on the TikTok EffectHouse. I think it's a pretty cool tool to create some awesome and easy augmented reality effects. And until then, see you next time.